So, Jack, today we are here to talk about risk adjustment. But when you told me you were coming to this call in your soccer jersey, I put mine on too. So, is there
Excellent.
any chance we're headed to the World Cup game after this, or what's going on?
It's exactly where I'm going as soon as this is over. I'm going to turn it back on and get the game back on. Yeah.
Nice. So, so it sounds like there's more similarities between the World Cup and risk adjustment than someone might think. And I'm excited to dig into this because I just read your most recent article. But tell me, in World Cup terms, is risk adjustment still a game of scoring as many goals as possible or no?
Yeah, I mean that's a fantastic question. I mean, it's obvious that the beautiful game loved by billions of people around the world is directly analogous to risk adjustment. But I think you're spot on. Some of the changes that they've got going this year at the World Cup and at CMS really try to focus on accuracy and on making sure that things are neatly tied and ticked together. I don't know if you caught the game last night where the referee kept moving the ball very precisely around the field and seemed very precise about that. CMS, in a similar way, is really looking to make sure that folks are documenting how risk adjustment is completed and how accurate it is, as opposed to just trying to get as much on the claim as you possibly can.
Okay. So how is CMS kind of cracking down, if you will, on, for example, unlinked chart reviews? And I noticed in your article you said that's similar to the offside rules. So pull
Yeah.
those two things together for me.
Yeah, obviously, right. So for most Americans, at least, the offside rule is something that makes very little sense. But the unlinked chart review is the same sort of idea in that they're trying to draw a direct connection to where something needs to be, right? They need to be able to document that care was delivered before you're able to claim that as a diagnosis in somebody's risk adjustment. So you can't just have the risk adjustment without being able to document how you got there and that the care was delivered, right? It's sort of like someone sneaking off sides well ahead of the play and then just standing there and popping a goal in, right? We've all seen those pulled back, and CMS is absolutely calling those back in the same way.
That's a great analogy. I love that. So, Jack, you made another analogy about RADV audits, that they are the VAR review of risk adjustment. So, what should health plans do differently there?
Absolutely, yeah. The RADV audits are absolutely the VAR opportunity within risk adjustment, right? They're a chance for CMS and the Inspector General's office to go back and take a look at what was submitted and take another look at it and make sure that it was correct. One of the things that CMS is really taking a close look at are the high variation conditions, things like COPD, that can present themselves differently, which leads to slightly different documentation, slightly different kinds of proof coming in. And again, the intent is just to make sure that the rules are being enforced consistently and accurately every time. So just like the referee trotting over to the sideline to take a look at the monitor, they're pulling up old records and taking a second look at them.
Got it. And then you also mentioned that annual wellness visits are considered the set piece opportunity of risk adjustment. So what exactly is the set piece? What does that mean?
Yeah. So again, for fans of soccer, we've seen a lot more emphasis on set pieces. Those are corner kicks, penalty kicks, long throw-ins. Particularly in the Premier League, folks have realized that more goals get scored on those, and they become really good opportunities to score. And so the annual wellness visit, like that, is something that's a discrete event. It can be practiced, it can be honed, it can be administered on a consistent basis. And plans need to make sure that their members are getting into their primary care providers, getting seen, and working with those primary care providers to work through that exact checklist or set piece of things that they need to work through. You know, what are your diagnoses? What medications are you on? What are the gaps that you need closing? Right? Not only does that help with the risk adjustment, but again, it helps with gaps. It helps with building that rapport and that relationship with the primary care provider. A lot of good can come out of that.
Absolutely. It's a foundational sort of table stakes type of situation
Exactly.
there, which is great. So I love all these analogies. Maybe in your opinion, then, Jack, tell me, so what do you think separates championship caliber health plans from the
Yeah.
rest of the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that jumps out from the World Cup is you see a lot of small teams like Cabo Verde have done extraordinarily well. Big traditional powerhouses like France have done particularly well. It's not about size. It's about executing what you need to do on a consistent basis and really bringing a level of professionalism and execution to all the work that you're doing, right? So again, making sure you're hitting those annual wellness visits, making sure that you're communicating to your members about the importance of getting these kinds of things done, working with your providers to help them understand what part they play in this, and playing as a team, not just as a series of superstar individuals.
Amazing. I think this was super informative, Jack. I love the analogies between risk adjustment and the World Cup, putting those two things together, who knew you could actually do it, and you did it so well.
It's much more similar than you would think. I'm going to get back to the game, but over to